for our weekly Chacho Busin True Friend. If you are new, welcome. If you are returning, welcome. And this is a weekly circle to help you play your cards. This is an open circle. And disclaimers up front, I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist. I'm a fortune teller, so what I offer is no substitute for their services. Furthermore, what I share does not determine your futures, only your intentions and actions do. So please use your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away from this reading. And of course, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss. The rest back to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. This reading is for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, for flexing our heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions, and intuition and soul. I hope to help, and at the least, I hope to cause harm to none. All that said, we are so happy to be here with you in this session. And thank you so much for steering clear of danger, for helping us shuffle states of emergency into adoption spirit magic, for playing your cards. Heartily, we are grateful. And, this game of cards, there's different things happening right here, but your own deck of cards, this is something you can come back to during times you don't know what to do. There are matters going down, and you don't even know what to think. And you can pull your cards off the shelf and shuffle them up and play through that loss and to live the life that you want to live as you in life keep changing. So this circle may be for you if you prefer to dance away out of the fog of adoption fairy tales, gypsy myths, matriarchy, the patriarchy, the grief struck by loss, fearful, sad, gone mad, amygdala, cycling, fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, authoritatively, that amygdala. And so if you're wanting to dance away from that and immerse into adoption spirit magic, this circle may be for you. Playing your cards may be for you. You're already playing your cards. And so this is just troubleshooting. What's working, what's not. What are you going to do? What is somebody else going to do? And what are your standards? And what's the date today? And how far have you come? And where are you going? So those basics. And this is from Cindy Dale. The sadness asks us to perceive love under loss. And immersed in adoption spirit magic, we no longer tune into the nightly news, the morning news, the evening news, the afternoon news. Ever since we witnessed bodies jumping out of the Twin Towers, on the news, we stopped tuning in. We said, that's not news. And that's not helpful. And that just ends up cycling more fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fun emergency states instead of helping us overcome and transmute these violent cycles into love. And so 5 is fun because it is the number we rolled for this. So for this. And so these are some cards we're going to check into to see if some of this may assist you playing your cards that you're already playing. So if there's any blocks, and then this at the end, we will jump into. This is fun. So these are from Cindy Dale, Subtle Energy Healer, and you may find out more about her. I think I include her in my description of the in the playlists. This number has been coming up much numerology. And we are all different psychosocial science experiments. And so what resonates for one may not resonate for another. So we invite you to keep checking out for your own, because that way this reading may be more meaningful for you. And that's why we're here, to help you play through the loss to live life worth living. Right? It's so challenging, this loss, that people kill themselves and other people. So how to play through that. So this number 5, this numerology, you may explore more on your own. As I was saying, we're all different psychosocial science experiments. And so Cindy Dale I'm studying with her in her Subtle Energy Healing books, unofficially studying with her. It keeps us from taking on everyone else's issues and thus becoming overburdened. Like if we still tuned into the news on a regular basis, wow, we'd really be overburdened with everything happening right now. And orphans and adoptees so often have been put in this position of inequitable social contracts that we see playing out in national and state levels around the world. It's not just in a family level and an individual level. And so this 5 may help us from becoming overburdened and taking on others' issues, like the orphan and adoptee. We understand our parents, right? And the losses they've gone through, but we can't keep being the scapegoat or taking carrying everyone else's bags. And so this number 5 may help us play through with that. You may find yourself making songs about it, or mantras, or art pieces. 7 helps with any boundary issues, and this anger may be coming up with all the sadness. It's like sadness, some say, comes first, and then anger follows that, but it comes so quick that some people think that this is first. But if you remember, sadness comes first, it helps us stop the force march and tend to our sadness, immersed in adoption spirit magic. But I just wanted to look at that number 5 since we rolled it for both of these. We actually rolled a 7. Pardon me. We are working on our throat chakra. So please pardon me if you hear that throat clearing during this session. Anyways, the 7 notebook was one that I don't have permission to share. I do not have permission to share. It was the songbook. Do not have permissions to share that, but you may visit the Self-Realization Fellowship to learn more about that, and maybe you already have come across the Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda, the creator of Self-Realization Fellowship. Such an amazing read, such a brilliant, creative, spiritual. You may enjoy exploring, and the Self-Realization Fellowship, the home center in Los Angeles, almost at the end of Sunset Boulevard, overlooking the Pacific Ocean, is so beautiful. You may enjoy visiting it. Some of Gandhi's ashes are there as well, and beautiful temples and resource rooms. And you can see here all these things 5 does for us. And so perhaps this is super helpful right now to help us shift into a different space where we're shifting out of the old earth, that fight, flight, freeze, fawn emergency states as for the best and correct, and shift into that adoption spirit magic, immerse into that adoption spirit magic. And that 3 is coming up. We all have our own wisdom, and so perhaps that you're at a place where you're ready to accept your own wisdom and share it with others. It gives you bravery and discipline, or perhaps you're getting there, or perhaps you're thinking about it. And it's just occurring to me to share the other emotions as we look at that anger and sadness before we jump into the books, especially with everything going on, to help us sort through and to be able to rest easy tonight and get a peaceful night's sleep so we can go about our business tomorrow and work our miracles. and just allow the universe to work its miracles in the meantime when we are resting. And so these emotions that are coming up, right? So we want to honor that. We don't want to force march. We want to transmute those violent cycles into love as we are immersed in adoption spirit magic. And so this may assist us as well, right? So emotions are normal responses to external environment. They're actually thoughts combined with feelings. And then the thoughts steer our feelings, and the feelings themselves create the chemical, attitudinal, even electrical environment that impacts certain organs and meridians. And that's why it's so important for us to just be super sweet with ourselves and our emotions and understand how that impacts our physical health. And we don't have to sweep that under the carpet anymore. And that as we have danced away from that fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn, stop crying or I'll give you a reason to cry. We've danced away from that. We're immersed in adoption spirit magic. And so this fear, perhaps it's asking you to move forward, backwards, or out of the way right now and to take sweet care of yourself. Offer your prayers as if it's already happened, peace and joy, and and honor yourself and take sweet care of yourself if you are not in a position to offer any help. And let's see what else we have here. And again, these are from Cindy Dale's Subtle Energy Healing. I have found super helpful. That 7 came up. Right. So just to help us rest with everything going on. And this one is tricky. If you are in a position where you are assisting others, I found myself at times, I was in that position, I found myself at times showing disgust to my students as a way to motivate them, and that was incorrect. That was that emergency state, that was bullying, and it may adopt success for a select few, but the majority will get left behind. And so have gotten left behind. You can check out the data for yourself, right? Don't let me tell you, right? So it's really important if you are in a position of leadership to quadruple check yourself with these emotions and step back. And that's what's so beautiful about adoption spirit magic is we are not on this resolving things in 24 hours. We are immersed in adoption spirit magic, and we are taking our time on this healing path. And we are not on a forced march, right? We are not buying into this evil that has been taught. We see that evil is really a loss. God bless us all. God bless it. And so it doesn't serve us to see people as evil. It keeps leaving one person behind after another, right? It's really successful in leaving one person behind after another. It's not so successful in adopting success for one and all, that notion of evil. And if you really look at evil, it's loss, first and foremost. And so discipline, punishment, emotional to physical war are not only irrelevant, inappropriate, they're ineffective. And healing is a different approach because evil's really loss. And so this 9 may help us with that. This number 9 has been coming up in our neck of the woods. The Powerball is up to 999, represents harmony and change, eliminates the old and erases evil, and that is the grief struck by loss, possessed by grief. That's how we are calling it here, immersed in adoption spirit magic. Please forgive my nails. From what we have seen in our study and practice through the years, to ensure every student succeeds, youth through elder. And so this 9 may help us move into this new space, this heaven on earth. And so beautiful, so beautiful. And just shuffling through these cards to give you a taste of Cindy Dale and her books. They may float your boat, help you play through these times when we're so grief-struck by loss. We could take down ourselves or the Twin Towers, and to do something different, to step out of those violent cycles and to love, to transmute those violent cycles into love. And we are ready. We are ready. We've been working for this, especially over the past 3 years. I'm just quadruple checking if there's anything else here for us with those feelings and right, how to play through the loss that is so devastating that it's been cycling for millennia, probably longer. God bless it. And so we are here to help play through that. And so you have your own deck of cards. You saw I just adapted that deck of cards for my own purposes. And, you know, as flashcards help you learn your languages, learn your multiplication tables, they can help make your most blessed dreams come true. And so in that notion, you play your cards. And so this section of the cards is Testament section. And so this may be, you can see it's a notebook. It doesn't look like cards, right? So your cards, they take on different forms. They get abstract. And the Testament section of your cards, like you have different suits in this deck of cards. Your own deck of cards has a Testament section. All the beautiful, wonderful things you've done and all the beautiful, wonderful people that you are in contact with, their love letters, their creations, your love letters and creations. So things you can flip to instead of perhaps tuning into the news, and keep the focus on rebuilding this new earth in joy and peace. You can tap into your own cards. And so this is an extension of mine that I am sharing with you. And so let's tap in today and see what we find for our highest love and light. Thank you very much. And so we have beautiful work by the brilliant, creative, fine artist Barbara Mendez, also known as Willie Mendez, underground comic from the 70s, late 60s, 70s. And this is an open mic art party. This is one of her flyers from back in the day. Let's see. I can't see the date. Doesn't look like there's a year on this. I think this was probably 2016, 2017. Yay, 2016. I think that's the affirmation right there. I just turned the page. More Barbara Mendez. More Barbara Mendez. So beautiful, so beautiful. And so you may find more about Barbara Mendez at Barbara Mendez. Mendez is with an S, MENDES.org, to see her brilliant art. And if you are, pardon me, in South Robertson or Soro, South Robertson, Los Angeles. Oh my God, I love Barbara so much. You may visit Barbara Mendez Square and visit the Ivan Gallery and celebrate Barbara by visiting. And yes, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Is the artwork amazing? It's prolific. I mean, it just goes on and on. She's a cultural treasure. And so, such a beautiful woman. I am so blessed to have and participate in a beautiful exhibit that she created, Magic Women in Art, and the South Robinson Street Festival. She shared her booth with me so graciously in 2012 when I first came out of the closet as a Romani adoptee artist and was sharing my art. She was so, so gracious, and I'm just loving sharing this artwork with you. So she does this artwork and shows everything that's happening on the street. So all the different businesses and whatnot. So much fun. And so I invite you to visit with her in much respect. She is a brilliant creative and she is just immersed in her art. So if you do happen to cross her path, honor her time and space. Thank you so much for honoring her time and space and respecting her time and space. And I am so curious what pieces you shall pick up. And so that, oh my God, I mean, we could go on and on. I just adore her art and her brilliant creative genius and such an amazing friend. And so you may find out for yourself. And she is one of the artists who has inspired me to do my work and different ways. And perhaps you see, as you look at her art, how I've been inspired. And she's got a couple comic books out, Red 5 Comics. Pardon me. And you may procure them through her or through the comic, Red 5 Comics, the Queen of Cosmos Comics. Oh my God. The rough draft. I feel so blessed. So blessed. She is a living legend. And so she is one of those people who just inspires those she meets with what she does and who she is, just the essence, and just brings hope in so many different ways. She's a prophetess, a musician. I mean, I could go on and on. And so I am so grateful. Whew, that was so exciting. And so your testament, part of your cards, you may have your own notebooks full of love letters from all the different people from all the different walks of life that you have met that have inspired you to help keep you moving along your path, your healing path. And you know, when you're flipping through your cards, you know, perhaps that's the section you want to go to. You don't want to go to the tarot section. You don't want to work on your I am affirmations right now, or you don't want to work on the totem section of your cards right now. You know, perhaps it's the time for the testament. And so that is that. And perhaps that helps you play through and understand more about how you already are playing your cards and what you may do instead of tuning into the news or the murder mystery shows or the CSI or the ER or the 911, all those different shows that are perpetuating the emergency state. You can do something different now and immerse yourself into adoption spirit magic and play with yourself, your cards. Super sweet. And so I hope that was helpful in some way. And to wind down our circle tonight, I was called to choose a deck of cards, and the Living Altar was chosen at number 5. And this is a beautiful oracle and spell deck for the Radical Witch by Kiki Robinson and Ilvedroma Marzana Radzisuski. And this is one of the only Romani decks I know in circulation. So beautiful, so brilliant. And you can purchase your own for yourself if you appreciate, and learn more about them at the Living Altar. They have a website. They're on Instagram and social media. They also have a podcast, Altars Up Witches. And they have also shared at other people's podcasts, like Romanistan. And you may listen to the Halloween episodes of the Romanistan podcast the last couple years and hear some spooky Halloween stories about how this deck of cards was made. 'Tis the season, right? And so this is such a beautiful, beautiful deck of cards. And so we were guided to pull a card for you to wrap up this reading. And you are a whole, full, powerful, loving, spiritual being. And so am I. And we thank your source and spirit team, angels, ancestors, galaxy guides, saints and sages, gods and goddesses, universe is here for the highest love and light as well as mine. And we thank your source and my source for immediately shifting the situations into what it needs to be, offering necessary insights, healings, acts of grace, and protection. Heartily, we are grateful. And so it was, and so it was, and so it is, and so it was. Heartily, we are grateful. All right. So what's some advice, some guidance for us in the highest love and light? How to move forward, minding our business in the highest love and light as we are immersed in adoption spirit magic, dancing away from those emergency states. How do we change the channel? How do we move forward, minding our business in the highest love and light when everything's going on like it is? Thank you for making it abundantly clear. Heartily, we are grateful. Fire. Careful with the fire. Careful with the fire. But you may want to check that element out. Perhaps you are a fire sign and you're trying to figure out how to temper, right? Instead of seeing that anger as a sign to force march and protest and all of that, go to war. No, it's a sign to tag out. Let's see what's up. There we go. Thank you. Spring. Thank you. So beautiful. So beautiful. And at the bottom of the deck, surrender. I love that. So let's take both of those. All right. One more. Let me do this. There we are. After surrender was sunrise. I mean, come on, so beautiful. This deck is so beautiful. All right. Oh, I love that. So, spring fell out. Surrender was on the bottom. Childhood was on the top. We're going to go for that first. And this has 3 parts, so you can settle in for this and come back as you wish. And let's see what we have here. Spring, 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 spring. Spring. Witch's Wheel correspondence. Oops, pardon me. Air, east, rebirth, childhood, emergence, promise, sunrise, crescent moon, first quarter moon, identity, inspiration, creation, and ancestor. And the spell. Part 2. I bow to the urgency of resilience. I cultivate my courage by whatever means necessary. I emerge willing to examine my expectations. I yield to what is becoming, knowing I will not break. I know the pressure to become is the momentum of faith. So beautiful, so beautiful. Oh my God, and this card is so beautiful. Look at all that symbology in there. I just love that. And opulent witch and Baba Yaga on Instagram. You can see more of them. They're beautiful offerings, and I'm reminded Opulent Witch is sharing protection spells on that fern, just helping us clear our space and protect our space. And then the cocoon and the butterfly, and the fact that the caterpillar disintegrates before it becomes the butterfly, and just to honor sometimes that it feels like we're disintegrating before we become this new person, this new place, this new thing, and especially as we are dismantling the old earth and stepping into the new earth, rebuilding a new earth. So beautiful. And so the guiding message is, what is lying dormant, asking to emerge? Spend time reflecting on your relationship with spring. Where are you now in relationship to last spring? How have you grown? What have you experienced? Where would you like to see yourself come next spring? How will you begin? So beautiful, such a beautiful reminder. And that spring card, I super appreciate all the pieces of that. And the surrender, I'm called to read all of these, taking the time. Um, we've been going through so much, so much. And so just to help ease the stress, right? One of some of our standards here, immersed in adoption spirit magic: anger less, stress less, worry less, rush less. And so how to do that. And to find out about more of those adoption standards, you can look at some of our websites through the Which to Take website. Thank you so much for joining us. We are just wrapping up. We are on our last couple cards. We are so happy you are here. And whenever you are joining us, this is a timeless reading, but especially relevant when you are checking it out. And so the Witch's Wheel correspondence: source, center, present through Witch's Wheel and in all cards. I love that. So the source and center, that's in all of these cards and in all of the Witch's Wheel. And so, the universe has got you, and keep trusting and changing the channel from those who aren't trusting and those who are trying to convince you otherwise, talking you into evil and those sorts of things, and talking you into, it's for the best, this is correct, we got to fight, come on, it's a good fight. So you can step away from that. You can trust your source and surrender into your source and immerse into adoption spirit magic. And you are protected by that love and that light of source, and tapping into that. And so here's the spell: I trust myself to ask for what I need. I trust myself to tend to my relationship to spirit. I trust myself to create a foundation of trust and intimacy with life, strong enough to hold me as I grow. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, especially immersed in adoption spirit magic. We are done playing the blame game, and trust is such a big issue for orphans, for adoptees, for all the literal orphans and adoptees, all the different ways that plays out. And well, how about trusting yourself to ask for what you need and to tend to your relationship to source and to create that foundation of trust and intimacy with life? Intimacy is one of those two-faced cards we're all dealt with each loss, not just the orphan and adoptee, right? With each loss, we get dealt 7 cards: loss, grief, intimacy, identity, mastery and control, guilt and shame, and rejection. I think that was 7. But yourself to create a foundation of trust and intimacy with life, and beautiful enough and strong enough to hold you as you grow. So beautiful. What a beautiful spell. And so the guiding messages: track your attachments and responses to the situations. Sometimes change is outside of your control. Have you assessed your intentions? Are you taking the necessary steps to move forward? Trust in your efforts. Sometimes your effort is to stay in bed, right? Sometimes your and effort is to self-care and to turn off the news and pull a self-care card and pull another self-care card, right? And sometimes those are the necessary steps to move forward instead of the forced march, right? What do we do to replace the forced march? We self-care. You self-care. You cry because it's sad, whatever it is, and you self-care and you nurture yourself and you grieve and you heal and surrender. That is essential. And that intimacy, trusting yourself, foundation of trust and intimacy, creating a foundation of trust and intimacy, that also helps transmute those intimacy issues we see, the emotional through physical rape, right? So when we learn to trust ourselves and trust the foundation of trust we're creating with the intimacy of life, foundation of trust and intimacy with life, those lower aspects of intimacy issues transmute into love. And so we can release that fear, right? And we can just focus on taking care of ourselves and steering clear of danger, digging into our self-care, leaning into our self-care. And that is a 24/7 deal, right? What a beautiful card, this childhood card. I love it. It's reminding me of the bear, sign of strength and fortitude. And that time when we were our childhood, and we were fearless. And not to say, run into danger, go protect your elders, anything like that kind of fearless, but just fearless to honor a different path, fearlessness to honor a healing path, fearlessness to honor a whole different way of life, to stop and look at the tracks and to steer clear of danger and to play with everything. And if we can't play, that's time to rest, that's time to hydrate, that's time to eat, that's time to, you fill in the blank, right? So the witch's wheel correspondence for childhood: air, spring, east, sunrise, promise, first quarter moon, inspiration, creativity, intention, and choice. That creativity is jumping out at me right now. That's one of the things we can do to lean in to these times of stress and sadness and grief, is lean into your creativity cards, all those different ways you create. Maybe you bead necklaces, maybe you paint, maybe you create altars like this. All the different ways we create to help flush through the sadness, honor it, let those tears be rainbows to our souls. The first tribes remind us. Play those creativity cards. So, the spell. I welcome the initiation of wonderment. In this space, I create safety. In this safety, I access my joy, curiosity, and inspiration. I see through the eyes of my younger self. I rewild the truth of innocence, where every choice is a new adventure. My play and discovery unfold effortlessly and reveal the childlike nature of my dreaming. I harness the magic of my imagination in creating rituals of liberation through radical honesty, free of pretense. I embrace the immediacy of uninhibited trust. So beautiful. So you can turn to this place, turn to your safe, sound corner, give thanks and gratitude for that. Feel that for everyone, feel that space for everyone as if everyone has that, and play that childhood card. Find that creative, safe space and in your safe corner and play. Play through this. We can get through this. We are getting through this. And for what we can't, the universe, we can thank the universe as if it's already happened for the peace and joy, and feel it in our hearts as if it's already here. And the guiding messages: don't take yourself so seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. I apologize. I misread. Don't be too wise. Embrace curiosity. Reclaim wonderment. Choose a new perspective. Playfulness is virtuous. And you are choosing a new perspective. You are playing through instead of fighting the good fight. And thank you so much. We are so grateful. And it's tremendous what you are doing. And honoring the sadness, and that could take 3 days when it really hits you to play through that, and how you play through that, honoring the time and space. Please allow yourself that 3-day card. Perhaps it's going to take longer than the 24-hour card, right? And it's so intense. There's been such a pileup. Maybe you're feeling stuff through the month, through the 3 months, through the year. And so honoring, giving yourself extra time and space to heal, to self-soothe. That's the difference between the force march and the healing path, right? So the force march is like, within 24 hours, you got to get the message back. You got to get things done. 24 hours, come on, you got to get it done, right? And the healing path is not the same thing. It's not the same way at all. It's just taking your time and space. Go slow, go slow, go slow. That's one of the main things that we got to do, is go slow. And perhaps that's even sleeping, trying to get the 8 hours in. That's the time that we are able to truly heal. Our body's able to truly rest. And so what can you do to create your safe sleep space? And what am I missing? Am I missing anything else to share with you? Oh, yes. As you are dancing away from these emergency states, you may find that your stories are changing. The abused, neglected, orphan, adopted, the gypsy, the Romani, so often misdiagnosed and mistreated as ADHD, as addict, as asshole, bitch, bipolar, criminal, developmentally delayed, dumb, quote unquote evil, rude, ungrateful, freak. You get the idea. And immersed in adoption spirit magic, that's a thing of the past. And so you're rewriting your story. You're no longer adhering to those old stories. Oh, I'm bipolar, I'm ADHD, I'm an addict. And recognizing the places where those were misdiagnoses, and working in different ways to take sweet care of yourself. That the loss is so devastating that it causes us to look like an addict, bipolar, criminal, evil, all these different man-made constructs, asshole, bitch, ADHD. And so give yourself the time and the space to keep evolving, to keep rewriting your story as you are understanding that that is what is in your highest love and light, that these old ways no longer serve you, that taking on those labels to fit into that emergency state no longer serve you. They were never true in the first place. They were misdiagnoses. And of course, take that only as it resonates, right? We are all different psychosocial science experiments. Quadruple check with yourself. Use your gifts of discernment. Only you are responsible for your actions. Quadruple check also with your team, your spiritual team, your earthly team, and just keep taking sweet care of yourself as you see fit. And as you dance away from those fight, flight, freeze, fuck, fawn emergency states, steering clear of danger heartily, we are so grateful for you taking such sweet care of yourself, for helping us breathe life into adoption spirit magic. And if this resonates with you and you want more, we have free courses. You can check our About page, Reclaim Your Game, Adoptive Parent College. They are both free for the next 10 days, winding down our first year as which to take. And you may offer us your feedback about gaps and redundancies you see to help make us our offerings more effective and relevant for our year 2, if that is your cup of tea. And there are also links to other Romani activists, the adoptee activists, and different schools of thought that you may enjoy checking into on our About page or at the bottom of our home page. There's all sorts of different channels to help you as you are immersed in adoption spirit magic, and you are no longer engaging in the emergency state. You're no longer taking in the news or the criminal shows or the CSI because you see, it's all lost. It all somehow it all ends up to that literal and figurative orphan and adoptee, and we can solve this a different way. Instead of continuing to cycle that fear, we can immerse ourselves into adoption spirit magic again and again and again, even if we trip and fall into that emergency state. And so that is what we have in this session. And thank you so much for taking sweet care of yourself again, for playing your cards. Heartily, we are grateful. Until next time, ciao for now. We love you all.